It's always something, you know, it's always something. Welcome to the Director's Garage Live, everybody. I am your host and one-winged idiot, Michael. Welcome back to the show. I had a couple of things patched wrong there. Actually, it's not one-winged dove. For 40 years, I've been singing just like a one-winged dove sings a song that sounds like she's singing, or whatever the hell it is. It's white wing dove. Who knew? So ridiculous. Well, we are back on another Wednesday. Cheers, everybody. It's hump day. It's happy hour. We are here raising the glasses and tipping asses. No, we didn't say that. Okay. What's going on today? Well, if you hear some noise in the background besides the background music, it would be because there's construction going on at the Director's Garage today. This is the week that we are fixing the foundation on the house because the house has been slowly going down a hill. So we have some folks in who are going to jack the house up and pour a fresh foundation, and then boom, we're off. By the way, Utopias, these are for sale, by the way. $2,000 is the lowest price Focal Utopia OG on the market. And it's for sale right now. Beautiful. Look at how pretty these are. These are gorgeous. Somebody picked these up. I'm looking to turn over some gear, in case you didn't know that. That's in the comments below. You email me at directorsgarage@gmail.com and we'll strike a deal on something. So I've got my DAC stack is down there. All sorts of stuff. Really good stuff for sale down there. Some of it's a little pricey. Some of it's a damn bargain. $6,500 for the Cord Hugo TT2 Plus M Scaler, which retails for over $12,000 for this set. New. And they're current. No, not like there's a new model or something like that. These are the current models right now. And I'm unloading them for under half price. And they're the lowest priced M scale, because one just sold last week, a pair, for $6,900, and I'm actually under that. So good deal going on those. I'm looking to move DACs and change some things around, and to do that, I got to sell some stuff because I ain't rich. Although the house is going down the hill, it's all going to hell. And we're bracing for a winter storm here in LA. And I think some of you guys are too. Ace of Spades is supposed to be getting a couple of feet of snow tonight. We're getting snow in the mountains, but we're supposed to get bombed by rain later. Another one of these cyclone deals blowing through. And it's Can Jam week. How can we not lead with that? That's the big story of the week, isn't it? If you guys are on the East Coast, get to Can Jam. Go to New York City. Stop by Audio 46 while you're there. They're going to have a booth there. And tell them I sent you. But no, and stop by their store. If you get a chance, go to that store now. I'm dying. That place. Oh, man, they got great stuff on display. Great place to go. And there's all sorts of new gear coming out this week because of Can Jam New York. I'm going to preview some of it in just a few minutes. I'm going to let some more folks filter through, get into the chat and all of that. And then we'll talk about some of this new stuff that's come out. Some of it has been previously announced, but is finally becoming available this week. So there's a little bit of that going on too. Like some stuff that has been, that they introduced in the fall or in late November. They, did the announcement, but now this week it's actually physically getting into people's hands, which is really exciting. If you follow any of the boards, I'm on Facebook in a number of groups on Facebook, and that's where folks post, hey, look, I got my new thing. It finally came in. So that's kind of cool. There's some new stuff coming in. So I'm going to go over a few of the new things that are finally getting into people's hands, and some of the stuff that was just announced too. I'll do that in a few minutes. I'm just giving some folks a chance to get in. So so they're doing construction on the house, and it's just made everything a little off. The cats are going nuts. They're drilling, they're hammering. what they have to do on this one part of the house is, because it's sinking, they have to jack the house up, and then they're going to dig around the perimeter, pour a foundation, and then drop the house back onto an actual foundation, because the people who did the work in 1980 were idiots. Just put it on. They put concrete blocks down and then put posts onto the concrete blocks and thought, foundation. And it's like, no. The house said, have you heard of erosion? Have you folks heard of erosion? That's what's going on here. Lots of listening going on this week. I've been working hard at work on episode 132. That is in the I am scoring it right now. I'm in the scoring stage. I have 3 stages. There's 4 stages to making a director's garage. That's sort of how I look at it. First is shoot, write and shoot. I put those 2 in the same thing. And then I cut it together and just lay it out. And then I do a scoring pass, and then I do a visual pass. And those are my 4 passes. Once it's done with the visual pass, spit it out the door, up to YouTube, done, and moving on to the next one. So that's sort of my process. Right now we're in the scoring stage. So, we're about maybe halfway-ish on the show. I'm hoping to get it out by this week because it is an Audio 46 episode, and Audio 46 is going to be at Can Jam. It would be kind of cool if I can support them by getting an episode out, pushing them, because they are so great, and they are the East Coast place to go buy headphone gear. And I know they're not the biggest, but they're the little engine that could. And I'm hopefully more like this show. This white-winged instead of one-winged show. So what else is going on? We'll talk about the phones in just a minute, but I want to give people a chance to get in. I'll go to a little bit of chat here. Ace of Spades says, yes, he's getting 2 feet of snow. Ah! So you tune in, you get your beer, you get a stiff drink, whatever it is, you gather around the computer and we talk it out. We hash out our headphone dramas. I was listening to these focals this week. Just wanted to, with the new amp, with the Bakun 13R, these are pretty formidable. The other thing I was listening to a lot this week is the Viking Ragnar. And I've made a couple of interesting discoveries on my systems. Let's first talk about the Cord TT2 M-Scaler situation. In research and in prepping this thing for sale, I started looking up the documentation, things like that. And it turns out, and I didn't know this wasn't clearly written anywhere except on one page on one manual, don't use the XLR and RCA outputs simultaneously. They are designed to only use one or the other. And I was having some problems when I was in the highest frequency, whatever, the M-Scaler high mode, which is, there are 4 stages in the M-Scaler. You can go M-Scaler off, and then you've got a little bit of upsampling, medium upsampling, high upsampling, and then ultra upsampling, or maybe it's only 3. But whatever it is, and in that ultra upsampling mode, I was getting some clicking every now and then. I would hear some, like a little tick in the right earphone. Well, it turns out that that was the problem because I was using the RCA and the XLR simultaneously, and it was introducing some junk. So I pulled that out, and actually the whole thing got cleaner. I'm only going RCAs now. I'm moving away from balanced because as I'm getting deeper into this hobby, most of the amp designers are for headphone stuff are designing their stuff unbalanced. So that's changed sort of my perspective a little bit. So I'm going a little more through the RCA and the unbalanced through the whole signal path. And, really, balanced signals were only designed for one purpose, and that's long cable runs. If you had long cable runs, particularly like a TV station or a radio station or whatever, having that third prong for ground allows you to extend the cable run further. So for purposes of our stuff, actually unbalanced is seemingly the way that these amp designers were intending us to use this stuff in the first place. So I am leaning more into that. It's not to say you can't, and not to say there are certain people are going to hear certain gains on headphones and stuff certain ways, but it's making me reevaluate that position. The more because I've done a lot of reading in the last couple weeks, and it's just I'm finding more and more mentions of unbalanced is the way people are designing these things. So that's kind of interesting. That's sort of in the fore. So pulling because for about maybe a month or so, I've had both signal paths wired out. I was using the balanced into the electrostatic amp. And then I was using the unbalanced into the regular stuff, into the the Bakun and all that. So I've removed the unbalanced chain, and it has cleared up a lot of problems. Like, well, who knew? Read the damn directions, right? So that was one thing, and then the other thing is the Viking Ragnar. I was doing some listening here, and normally I'm like around and moving around and stuff, and I'm just using the DAP player right into the IEMs, whatever it is. Sorry, I got some work stuff coming through, making sure it's not for me. Please get an ETA on that Stichel. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to type an email on something real quick. But so I changed so I was listening to the Ragnar on the WA11 Topaz, and I noticed that I didn't like the sound coming out of the deck. And then I wired it through I wired it just using it as an amp off of my DAP player, and everything sounded great. So just an interesting take that I'm hearing some subtle differences in the amp and in the signal path when I'm using the Viking, depending on the amp that I'm using with it. And so I've seen some reviews of people saying, I don't really like the Ragnar. It's sounding thin to me. It's sounding this to me or that to me. And the answer is check your signal path. Try some different things, because maybe you've stumbled on something that the Ragnar's not responding to. Hang on 2 seconds, folks. I have to type this. On that AGT Stichel. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, so that's some discoveries this week, kind of interesting things that I'm doing just because I've had some extra time to listen this week. I've been trying some different signal paths and discovering what works better. Not that anything sounded bad. It was just like, I think I'm missing some bass on this. It doesn't sound quite as robust as it did when I was doing some auditions. I'm like, well, what's changed? Well, I was using the DAC on the WA11. It turns out that doesn't pair particularly well with the Viking Ragnar. Things the more you know. And I got a response, and it's give them a nice thank you for taking a look at that. And we're back. So let's start going through some chat. Cheers, all, says ML Jenkins. Cheers, ML Jenkins. Oh, pardon me. Still having the cough problem and the ribs. Did you see Meze 109? Oh, did you buy the Meze 109? This is from the audio files. Did you buy the Meze 109, or did it just get sent to you? Looking to pick up a used pair of those. Those were sent to me by the... Oops. I got a response. Sorry, guys. Pause 2 seconds. Okay, so did I buy those? Were sent to me by Audio 46. I reviewed them, and I did. I did 2 shows on that. I did an unboxing show where we did the sound impression, and then I did the next show, which was the full review of them. And it turns out, I think they're good, but for me, I favored moving up to the lyric. I felt like, look, and I'm not, if the 109 was really good and I was really turned on by them, I would have said, yeah, definitely, check out the 109s. But for me, it was more, I was getting more out of it to jump up to the lyric. It was worth the extra money to go to the lyric. So I didn't give them a full-fledged recommendation. I felt like for what they were, they were okay. Yeah, they weren't bad. I didn't have anything really bad to say. I just didn't think they were as good as, and this is coming from memory. I didn't think they were as good as the Meze Lyric, and I'm like, for $1,200 right now, even down to $1,000 in some cases, I've seen them. You can buy a Meze Lyric used in great condition, and I would say buy the Meze Lyric at $1,200 over the $700 for the new 109. I think it's worth that. That's a good trade-off to make. You're still getting great comfort, but you're getting that driver, that Renaro driver, which is so spectacular, goes into that Meze Lyric, and it's worth it. It's totally worth it, in my opinion. It's better than the dynamic that's in the Meze 109. So. Yes, if you can find a used pair of 109s, sure, go for it. But I push people to the Lyric over the 109. I think that's a better product. They're just as comfortable. They have all the benefits of the 109, but they're faster. I like the bass better on it. I just like them overall better. I thought they were an overall better headphone. And that's a closed back. I'm telling you, and I know the 109 is an open back. So there you go. That was just my opinion. That's what I think. Ace Spade's got a new DAC this week, an Exogel? I don't know. Comet Plus. Pretty sweet upgrade from his prior DAC. That's awesome. I don't know that product. So I'm excited to. It's always great when you get something new and it's like changing your opinion or your view of things. We're going to look at some new products in just a few minutes here. All right, we got some people in, so we can probably go to that in a second. Hollow, and he changed from the Hollow Spring KTE as his primary and his BF2 for his desktop. Exogel replaces the BF2 in his desktop chain. Awesome. Hollow makes beefy full soundstage DACs. He loves his May. Yeah, I've looked at the May, Jenkins, ML Jenkins. That's one of the DACs that I'm considering going to. I've got a few that I'm bad. It's going to come down to finances, what I can sell this one for, and then I'll decide what I'm going to. But I'm going to make a change in the DAC department in the next couple of months here, depending on when and where and for how much this cord stack sells for. So there you go. And people going to CanJam. All right, I'm going to pause our chat right there and make a marker where we're at. And we're going to go take a look at some new products because these are really exciting and they'll kind of get your brain working on maybe moves you want to make or things you're thinking about. And let's go live too. Well, let's get this up. Start with some new stuff. And how do I do this? I got to go to that. Nope. Yep. Nope. There it is. Here we go. Okay. Going over to the Laptop of Doom. Trademark 2023. And this is the Phonix from Visioneers. A $4,400 IEM that is non-returnable, apparently. How awesome is that? No, that's these look really interesting to me, and they're one of these like hybrid things. They've got balanced armatures, and these are all balanced armatures, right? Is that right? But they look really cool, and they're from Visioneers, and they've had a Phonix before. Maybe it's Phonix, but with the 2 dots over the O, it should be Phonix. LE limited. It's a limited edition of the Phonix. It's changed the tuning on them slightly. This is brand new. This was just announced this week, I believe. And then everybody's getting their hands on these. You're seeing a ton of reviews for the HD-660s, which is the 660S2. This is the follow-up, the long awaited follow-up to the HD-600 line. Finally been redone. And I'm seeing mixed reviews on these. I'm hearing some people say they hardly changed anything. I'm seeing other people say it's a worthy upgrade. Don't know. You tell me what you think. Now, here's a new one from Campfire Audio, and I noted this one. Now, they have an update to the Andromeda, which gets updated every so often. And this is the Andromeda they're staying all balanced armatures on the Andromeda. They've made some tweaks to it and the tuning. This one's got my eye because this is the new Solaris, which has been their kind of flagship-y over there at Campfire. And I like that it's got a 10mm dynamic driver in here, and then 3 dual diaphragm balanced armatures, which looks really interesting. And then these are open backs too, it looks like, because they say that these, I saw this in here somewhere. Where did I see it? Radial venting, and that would tell me that there's some kind of open situation going on there. So they might have a pretty good soundstage, especially with the size of this. It's a beefy IEM. That is not small. So you're going to get some bang for your buck out of this one. Looks really interesting. Touch on the expensive side. These are $2,670. I would be waiting for the used before I would get into these. But, and look at this frequency response. What does this mean? What does this mean? Look over here, right here. See where the arrow is? Can you see that? What does this mean? Oh, it's kind of a This is as bad as any Harman curve I've ever seen. Oh, it's got some low. It's got a little more high. And kind of decent mid. Is that supposed to be a W tuning then? What the hell is that? Okay, so that's enough of that. So that's the Solaris from Campfire Audio. But these look interesting. I like if one of these made it my way, I would love to do a review on these. They look really interesting. Here's a headphone that was announced months ago, and everybody's been dying, but they're finally in stock, and that's the Yamaha. The new Yamaha $5,000 YH5000 SE. The 5,000 in the YH means you're paying. You're paying $5,000 for this. And people are excited about this one. I haven't heard it. And that would be one that I would be like really seriously going for at Can Jam. That's a perfect Can Jam, something you should seek out if you're going. See who's carrying one of these. Maybe there's got to be a few pairs floating around. That looks really good. And then if you're going to Woo, check this out. Now, I don't catch all the stuff that comes out, and then suddenly something will pop into one of my feeds or something, and I'll be like, wait, where'd that come from? And this was announced like months ago, apparently. I just never saw it. Sorry, I'm adjusting the mic. I never saw it or took note of it before. This is the WA23 Luna. And what this is if you love the wrong page. If you love the WA33, which is their big, huge, fully balanced, blah, 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 headphone amplifier, this is a desktop version of that. I did it again. So this is it, but it's redesigned. This is the first time Woo has stepped out of the sort of industrial design, and they've gone with something that's got kind of almost like an Art Deco kind of look with this half rounded thing, and looks really cool. I'm really impressed by what I see from this. It's single-ended, I believe. No, it isn't single-ended, but it was designed single-ended. So it's like single-ended first. If you again, another one of these amps that wasn't, they didn't approach it from a balanced perspective. They approached it from a single-ended perspective first, and then added the functionality. So, and this, I believe, this does not have a 300B in it. Is that correct? It's just got the rectifier and then a couple of power tubes, and then some power tubes. I don't know what this is over here, but at any rate, there you go. And there's videos of it. We can probably, well, if I kill the audio, we can probably watch through one of the videos. I can't let you hear the audio because who knows what production music they're using. But it looks sexy as hell. Look at that. Look at that. This is Woo's video. Credit to Woo Audio for the visuals on this. How sexy does this thing look? Really beautiful. Now they're talking about it, but we're not going to hear what he's saying. You can go find this on YouTube if you're that interested. But just the profile of it, it's a nice it's a smaller unit. It's not going to take up. They separated the power supply out, but just take a look at this thing. It's just gorgeous. Woo always does good designs. Nobody's ever accused them of doing anything poorly. And I think with this, they certainly have made a statement of some sort, Very cool, very cool. So those are the newer products that I saw this week. You can comment go to the comments if you want to. Sorry, I'm going to move over back to normal here, but go to the comments if you put in your comments if you saw anything else that was kind of interesting to you this week that came out. But I saw those stats. That was the stuff that really grabbed my attention. Sorry, I'm going to try and get this thing to actually stay sitting on me. Great. They just released me from that thing at work, so I'm not going to get distracted by that anymore. So good. So really some interesting new products. I'm super excited about a lot of that stuff. Certainly the Woo is something that's really interesting. I still have my WA, I have the what do I have? WA5LE, the second edition of that, the update to that. And I saw somebody on HeadFi was selling their V1 of that for $2,200. And I'm like, dude, I bought my version 1 when it was still current for $1,800. I think you're a little bit high on that price. But that's just, I've been doing a lot of searches looking for new gear because I am interested in turning some things over and getting some new sounds in here for the new year. Very excited about that. I've made some deals. I have a couple of things coming that are kind of cool, but nothing's here yet. And then I'm still kind of waiting for somebody to pick up this amp. If I can find somebody to buy the cord stack, we're going to be off to the races on a brand new deck that's going to be really exciting. Whatever it is, whatever I decide to go, whichever way I decide to go. There you go. Adnan says he also had a realization when looking at tube amps, given his chain is balanced, it's pretty hard shift, like moving from Android to Apple and vice versa. Yeah, it seems to like this took a little bit of me getting into it like more, and the professional in me, because I've done so much pro audio work, is like balance. You got to balance. You just go balance. Just go balance. You always go balance because you go balance in the audio, in the pro world. And and then you look at the connectors and like the sturdiness of that 3-prong and that sucker, that Switchcraft, whatever it is, whatever brand you're getting, it's like those are made to last. Those things are going to be there for, and it's like, well, yeah, but when the circuit designs are being considered for unbalanced first, and like if you listen to Rob Watts, go look up Rob Watts interview. That's where I kind of got started on this, as I was looking at this and looking at the way it was done, and looking at the way it was implemented, and reading some of the Rob Watts interviews, and he's like, yeah, we built this to be an unbalanced product, and then we added balanced functionality, but the best sound path in his opinion is the unbalanced signal. And I'm like, well, why would you screw with that? So I'm like, I've been jumping through hoops to get everything, to keep everything balanced because, the Macintosh, that's all balanced. I'm like, well, pretty much everything's balanced, so let's just stay balanced. I'm like, no, I think that I'm now rethinking that and putting it all in practice. I think I've made some gains. So there were subtle gains, nothing major, but yeah, and it also helps that I'm not, pulling from two feeds at once off of. I wasn't operating, I should be clear about this too. I was never operating both chains at once, but I was leaving the jacks plugged in. And apparently that's a no-no. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. I was never pulling more from the device than should have been pulling. I just wanted to, than it should have been pushing. I just wanted to make sure that I was clear about that. But it was something that I was doing wrong in the way I was wired, because apparently it still tries to send information out of those, even if you're not using them, it still tries to send information out of the other spigot, whichever one you're not using. So there you go. But it was, it really did change. So and Zerum, you make a great point there. Is balance so much better in a blind test? I don't know that any of it's better in a blind test. I'd probably put $100 down that I couldn't tell the difference in a blind test. But it does make sense to me that we've unbalanced has gotten a sort of a negative connotation, I think, in recent years in this industry, in the hobby, and I'm just saying, hold off there. Let's not bury that, and it's like, it's got to be balanced or it's not acceptable or whatever. Let's not go that far, and let's start rethinking some of this, because it turns out that a lot of these products are being built for unbalanced. It's something to remind and give you food for thought as you're putting your systems together out there. For the Nathan Tube channel. What's that? Wait, I missed the comment. Where did I miss that? Oh boy, I'm saying it looked like a good joke, man. What did I miss? Okay. Kajitan, first of all, Kajitan, welcome. Cheers. I don't recall seeing you here before. If this is your first time, we always cheers to people and their first posting on the live stream. Kajitan got the HE1000 SE last week, and he's exploring it with the C9. Great experiences over the Aria Stealth. Yeah, I can see that. And the HE1000, even the regular one that now has the stealth magnets, by most people who have gotten it have said, oh, $2,000. It's something to look at. So, I'm sure you're having a good time with that. And the thing that's great about that HE1000, the SE, easy to drive. You can drive them with anything, and that's the big advantage to that headphone over the Susvara. Susvara, impossible to drive, pain in the ass. So glad to see you're enjoying it. Cheers, man. That's awesome. Adnan says he wouldn't be able to tell the difference if the outputs are volume matched. Yeah, I think that's largely the case. I think that it's, you're splitting hairs there. But it is interesting that because that unbalanced signal gets kind of like has a tarnished image in our hobby. So I think that we need to reevaluate that and reconsider the way we're putting this stuff together, and we're wiring it all up. And I got to, I was talking last week, by the way, speaking of balanced versus unbalanced, I got to hook up, I took the cord stack I posted a picture of this on the community page. I took the cord stack to the living room because Mrs. Director was away at a conference, and I hooked it up with a computer to my recapped Krell amp and my Vandersteen 3A signatures, and I had a hell of a listening session last Wednesday. It was a blast. I had such a good time. I was rocking the house. The house was filled with great tunes. The cats were on the other end. They wanted nothing to do with the crazy old man in the living room jamming out. But I made a nice little setup. If you go over to the community page of our Director's Garage, whatever, YouTube page, you can check it out. There's a photo there of that. And I'd show it to you, but it's too much of a pain in the ass. You can just go over there and see it. But don't click out of the show while we're watching. So glad I'm here today, man. It's awesome. And we're all bracing for some badass weather coming in, man. Ooh, the trees are blowing. It's not looking good for the home team. And they're still going to, and apparently they're going to work through on the foundation, even though it's raining. So who knew? So let's see. Serum says, thanks. And, well, only if those fell onto subway tracks, it's only a $2,200 loss. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Man. But we've all been there. Audio 46 is demoing the Yamaha at CanJam. That's awesome. And go by there and say hi to those guys if you're going there. Seriously, Tony, and they're all just the best guys. They're total audiophiles, just like we are, and they love this stuff, and they love sharing this stuff, and they love selling it too. I mean, I'm not going to be let's not get too crazy, but you know, really good stuff. Rodrigo Fridas, hey buddy, cheers. Rodrigo, good to see you here. HiFi announced today a new Diablo X, and they are also coming with an IEM. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I did a couple of iFi amps. I did the Diablo and I did the IDSD Signature, which I actually preferred to the Diablo for a variety of reasons. And I was, you know, impressive stuff on, you know, for what it is. It's tiny little, it's like the WA11, and I'll bet probably has a better DAC. Now that I've been playing with the DAC some and doing some A-Bing on the DAC, really not pleased with the result of the DAC on that. Where previously I was, I just, you know, you hear stuff and you're just like, oh, that's not working so well. What's going on here? But iFi, fantastic stuff. And so new Diablo X. Are they keeping the red? What's going on there? Let's go to iFi. Can I do that? I can do that online. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go take a look. Back to the laptop. Okay, we're done with talking about this. Let's go to iFi. I think it's iFi Audio. Nope. Oh, that was it. Wait. I did have it. My little brain remembered it. So let's go see. Is it online yet? Because that's the thing. IDSD Diablo. They don't have it up yet. So apparently announced, but not listed yet. Sorry, I'm doing some adjustments. Yeah, this is still the original. That's the one that I reviewed. Still, phenomenal unit. Man, what a unit. I just thought that for what it was, the... let's go to the portable audio. It was... I chose this micro IDSD signature. I think that was the one that I wanted. Let's see, home audio. No, portable audio. Yeah, here we go. Because of, and it was all because of the switches. See these filters over here, right here. There are these filters. You can really match to your IEM and whatever it is you're driving with these. You can change power modes. You can change. Whereas on the Diablo, you just have a high power and a low power mode. It does, you know, it'll choose your biases maybe internally. Maybe there's some stuff going on there, but I liked that it had all of this extra functionality as far as choosing this stuff, and you could match, you could better match your IEM to the amp, and I thought that was worth having. I thought that was worth, and it's less money. So what you get with the Diablo, though, that's really cool. What you get with the Diablo that's really cool is you get the more power. You get more power for whatever it is you're driving. So if you have something that's a little trickier to drive and you want to take it on the road, then, I got to respond to something, folks. This is something else entirely. Talking about some interviews we're doing next week. And or a graphic for okay. I have now properly responded to the request of a producer. That's how we do it. So yeah, I think that the I think the Diablo stuff, and if there's a new one out, I just don't have it yet. I haven't seen anything on it, so I don't know where you saw it. But always exciting to see that stuff. iFight has great stuff. Their desktop stuff, all really cool. I mean, you don't see many people saying it's bad. You know, it's like it's pretty good stuff. Dan Clark Audio is demoing a new electrostatic. Well, that's interesting. Dan Clark has been just pounding out the new gear the last 2 years, right? With the Expanse and the Stealth. So interesting to see if they did, how they're doing their new electrostatic. If it's going to be more like the old one. I can't remember the name of the old Dan Clark electrostatic. Echo? No, I forget what it is. But yeah, so that'll be great. Oh, great. Okay. Ace Spade says, my next purchase will be 2 DDCs, but like so many options makes his head spin. That's the problem. There is so much of this stuff that's close. It's like, well, it comes down to like, how much do you want to spend? And then do you have a brand that you kind of like? You know, I mean, I try to like keep an eye out for what's clean. I mean, I want to have stuff that's on the higher end of the market, and then I want to find the bargain stuff, you know? So, like, I want to have 2 or 3 things that are, like, at the top of the top. Right now I have too much. I'm too top heavy right now. I got to unload some of this really high-end gear. And then I want to have stuff that's, like, bang for the buck. That's the stuff that gets me most excited. When I can find that $2,000 headphone that will give me 98% of what that $5,000 headphone will do. You know, that's the place to be. That's where you want to push people. You know, if people say, what should I buy? I ask, what's your budget? And then we go from there. But that's, you know, the main thing is like, you know, if you're going to be in that $2,000 sweet spot, you can buy stuff that's so close to the very top. It's like, it's not worth the extra money at that point. Unless you find like the top stuff used, like I try to find. Ace of Spades says, okay, we did that. Just reading it off. Had a nice chat with Jack Wu over email. What a nice gentleman. Yes. Every time I've gone to the Wu booth at Can Jam, very forthcoming, very nice guy. And, you know, we did he sold me, you know, did a trade for upgrade of my WA5 LE. That's how I got the version 2, was I traded it in. Really inspired me to finish this darn grad school to finally get the WA33 Elite. That's his plan after graduation. Well, that's fine, but, you know, look at some of the other stuff, too. That WA33, unless you have a need for it and you're driving something that you need it, it's like, that's a lot of money, especially if you're getting, like, one with the fancy wiring and stuff. That amp can get over 10 grand before you blink. And then put some tubes in it, it's like, ouch. That'll hurt. I think I spec'd one out once at about 15 grand. I was like, holy God, really? And then, you know, and they also have those, the tower, what are the tower monoblocks called that they have? They're not, I don't even know if they're making them anymore. You have to build them to order. It's fantastic looking stuff. And you can configure it as a 300B setup or, you know, number of different things. HiFiman is demoing a Susvara amp. Yeah, that's been out. That's been announced for a while. And that amp is not cheap. That's over 15 grand, as I recall. Really nice, but yeah. Hang on 2 seconds. Boy, work is just getting in the way today. There you go, folks. Working. The guys, so someone demoing Susvara. As Spade says, the guy selling the WA5LE has thousands of dollars in tube upgrades, so it's probably priced appropriately. Oh, is he selling the tubes with it? I didn't look that closely. I just saw the price and got sticker shock. I'm like, dude, bought that one for $1,800. It had stock tubes in it, and it didn't have upgrades in the tubes. So that may be good enough. Fair enough, man. You make a fair argument, Ace of Spades. I'll drink to that. Cheers, brother. Hoping Director's Garage, good relationship with Audio 46, Yamaha demo shipment. Yeah. That would be great. You know, like I said, that's a headphone that I'd love to, if they want to send me that one or the any of the Final Audio, if they've got an open box Final Audio sitting around there. Thumbs up to Audio 46. No, they are great. And make sure you stop by their booth if you are going there, because it's going to be worth it. Jeffrey Allison says, where you would see a difference is often design difference in power output of the balanced connectors. I've seen that on the portable gear. Have I seen that on... No, I haven't seen it on... I've seen it on the portable gear, but I haven't seen it on the desktop gear. I'm trying to think of a case where the balanced output was higher rated on a desktop situation. It's very common on the DAP players. Like this one, the W, this is the, everything's a W because I'm just in a W mood today. This is the SP1000. And frequently on these SPs for IEMs, the balanced output is higher power rated, and that is true. You will see that the smaller balanced connector output is probably about 25% more than the single-ended. But once we get to the desktop stuff, all of this stuff, there's no benefit to going one over the other on any of these amps here. And the WA5LE doesn't even offer a true balanced out. It's just they have a 4-pin there, but it's not true. It's a single-ended all the way through on that because it's a 300B. 300Bs are by nature single-ended, and therefore has to be unbalanced. Gil Renard says, how does the HE1000 SE compared to the Aria in bass and slam? I would think you'd be in better shape. Although the 1000s, neither of the 1000s were like slam monsters. I had the Aria stuff. None of them are slam monsters. They have good detailed bass, and the bass tuning is a little better, I think, on the 1000. But they're not like, you don't buy a HiFiman for slam. Like you buy like an Abyss for slam. You buy a I'm trying to think. The Mezzes. The Mezzes are slam, heavy slam headphones. The Audezes, slam headphones. The HiFimans don't slam. They have good bass and detailed bass. Even the Susvara. The Susvara is not a slam headphone at all. You don't get that punch on the back of the head feel that you get from the ZMFs. They'll knock you out. These won't. They have pictures. It's black. It's black. A black IDSD. Maybe I should just Google it. Hi-Fi Diablo X. I got nothing, man. I've got nothing. There's not an image on the Google for an Hi-Fi Diablo X. I need a link, Rodrigo. Page 44. Now you've really got me confused. And sorry, I'm doing something that I should never do, which is, not let you see what I'm working on. I'm just trying to quickly see if I can find this this thing. Page 44, you say. I just don't have it. That's okay. I mean, I trust you, and I trust that we'll see it. It's just it's not on their website right now. It's you would if you have a new product like that and it's your feature, product. It's got to be you'd put it right up front. So I don't know. Maybe they just haven't had a chance to announce it or do the press on it yet. Anyway. Yes, director uses Slack. Yes. All of CBS is Slack. We Slack everything. Slack. It's all slacking because we're a bunch of slackers. Yeah, so I have to slack into work. That's our main communication. That, and we do some email, but they're trying to push us away from email. They want us to get in the habit of slacking, probably because they can monitor it better. How y'all doing, man? Wow, we're at another Wednesday. I'm super excited, too, that I've been able to do this show on a Wednesday for the last few weeks. That's really nice to be able to have that set schedule. And I think it helps our numbers, too. We have 25 viewers today, so we've got a nice, healthy run of folks tuning in, and that always feels good, and it'll grow if we can keep hitting this time slot every week. I kind of like that. And we're talking about headphones today, too, which probably the last couple of weeks we've been off on some pretty radical tangents. Okay. Michael, any chance you will look into the Zoll HM1 amp? Well, William, that's from William N. William, that amp is on back order till next year. So the real problem is like, where am I going to get one? And that's the problem of being a single guy, says the guy with Mrs. Director. No, that's the problem of being a solo, like I'm on my own and I don't, like the guys at headphone.com that, they've got a whole store that they can just pull from. So they get this stuff in and they can review it right then. I have to rely on the generosity of others, or I have to buy it. And most often I have to buy it. So if it sounds like a great amp, and it would be on a short list to get in here, especially if it can perform with the Bakun, and outperform the Bakun in some ways. I know all the features of that amp. I've watched videos on it. I know more about that amp maybe than I even know about the Bakun, because there's not that much out there on the Bakun. But I love the crossfeed features in that. I love that the way that it's not a true crossfeed, and that they're actually analyzing the signal and keeping the vocals in the middle, even when it's expanding outward. Very exciting stuff. It looks like a really good design and a solid amp. And it certainly has the name behind it. It's a great name behind it. I just, who knows if I'd ever be able to get one, because they're shipping if you order now, you'll get one next year, 2024. I'm like, and if I order it now, that means I'm going to be tying up $6,000 or $7,000 or more in an amp and something I won't see for a year. Then that's not a good way to run this show. It's like, we got to get product in to keep the new stuff coming. So I'd love to do it. If somebody would send me one, I'd review it in a second and have fun doing it and enjoy it. Or if I could get one used, if one pops up on the used market, yeah, I'll pick it up and check it out. But I can't be in the business of waiting a year to get a product, because I can't tie that much money up for a year. It's not worth it. Wouldn't you rather have 5 final audio reviews of different products and some Dan Clark stuff, or do you want to wait for a year to get one amp in? It's like, if the show was making gobs and gobs of money, sure, I'd spend money like that. I'd be ordering all this stuff and have it all coming in. It's just not. We just don't have enough viewers. So just be realistic, and I try to make the most out of the capital I have at hand, and make sure I'm doing stuff that I'm interested in too. It's not just the point of getting something new and shiny in here. It's got to be something new and shiny that kind of interests me, because then I get excited about it and I want to delve into it and explain it to you guys in a fun way. That's what makes the show good. The next show is going to be an Audio 46 blind unboxing, and there are 2 products. They sent me 2. It's a double episode, so super fun. coming our way next. And that's I'm trying to get that out by Friday. In an ideal world, you'll have it in your hands in 2 days, but that means I got to put the pedal down and hammer home. So we'll have to get off the air at some point here so I can go work on that show. Too fun, though. I love doing it. Zerum says Susvara amp is brand new, similar to the Oris amp headphone stand concept. Yes, that was the Oris. Was that the one that Focal came out with? I think it was. But yeah, this is Ferrum, but look at the price on that sucker, right? I think it's north of 15,000, isn't it? Products. Oh boy. Oh, their website's slow, kids. Oh, their website's slow. One more reference. Okay. Let's see. Is it even listed? It's not listed. That's the problem. You know, these guys are making stuff faster than they can release it. And get it. Oh, here we go. Amplifiers. This is it. I see it. It's not even listed on their amps section yet. The picture's there, but the amp is not. Well, doesn't that suck? Thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing. Yeah, it's there, but it's this. It's a 2-stage. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful amp. I think it's called I don't know what it's called. EF1000, something like that. At any rate, but it's over 10. It's over 15 grand, I think. It's really super expensive, cost prohibitive to be sure. But they, you see the Lena stuff that's out there, $30,000 stack, and maybe they're like, is there really room there? Let's test the waters. That's the danger with price creep. It's going to cost us all a lot more to get into the high-end gear. Shameful. Because you can buy, you start thinking about it, like you can buy, you're getting into the territory where you can just buy a phenomenal speaker set and amp that will outperform, unless you're really into the headphones, you can get a hell of a home setup. Boy, the wind's frying out there. Woo, Dorothy. Auntie M. As far amp brand new. Okay, yes. Mr. Dynamite. Cheers, Mr. Dynamite. Cheers, brother. He heard the $12,000 Spirit Torino Valkyria headphone driven by their $10,000 amp at the Florida Expo. Wow. I didn't want to like it because of the price, but Jesus. I think that's exactly how you intended that to be read. Yeah, they're phenomenal. I have not heard it myself, and I'm hoping I never do because it'll just make me want one. And that's how I am with this Lena stack. I'm sure this Lena stack at 30 grand is like heaven sent from the gods, from the headphone gods. And I'm like, I want to hear it, but at the same time, I don't want to hear it. HE1000 has more, but the HE1000 SE bass is not more polite than on the Aria. I'm not on top of it. I let somebody answer that who has heard that more recently, because it's been a minute since I've heard the Aria. I reviewed last year sometime, but the 1000, it's been a minute. So my recollection though was that the 1000 was just a much more detailed package, The Aria is a great. I mean, the price on the Aria is if honestly, it would come down to budget for me. If you've got $1,200 to spend and that's all you got, get the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition. I think they're all selling for around that now, $1,200-$1,300. If you've got the $2,000, get the HE-1000, and if you've got $2,800 to spend, get the SE. But honestly, I think I would look for that HE-1000 Stealth at $2,000. That to me is the sweet spot. It's the sweet spot and the sweet price, most bang for your buck in the headphone market right now. And if you really wanted to upscale at $2,000, I would tell you to go find an Audeze LCD-4 OG edition, one in primo shape, because that is the bargain of all bargains right now. I've said this a couple of weeks at a time. The Audeze LCD-4, the OG version, is selling for around $2,000, $2,200. I've seen it in the $1,900 range. That's the headphone to buy if you're looking for a used headphone, because they're a steal for what they still do. They are an absolute steal for what they do. I was listening to it last night. I was listening to the LCD-4, which is sitting right back here. And I'm telling you guys, there are aspects of this headphone that are stronger than any of my other top tier headphones. Now, there's some things that they're weaker at. They're not as fast. They can't keep up with the speed of the Caldera. They can't keep up with the speed of the Susvara or the Abyss TC, 1266 TC. But as an overall package, as an overall sound, I put on the Clash and I listened to London Calling straight through the whole album last night, and it was on the LCD. I got all these other headphones I can choose. That LCD-4 is phenomenal on certain genres in certain like it's just a beautiful headphone. Still is, and you can get a deal. So I'd say that, because it sounds as good as the $4,000 headphones at $2,000. Whereas for bang for the buck, I would say, if you're looking new and whatever, I still think the HE-1000, especially now that they've rehabbed it with the stealth magnets, sure, go for that at $2,000. That's the other sweet spot. But if you're looking for the best bargain, it's got to be the Audeze LCD-4 OG, because people are dumping them. Like, they're just like, I've had this for a long time, I just get rid of it. And it's like they don't realize how good that headphone is. That headphone is phenomenal. It's still phenomenal. Just a wonderful headphone. Audeze just killed it with that headphone. And I'm so surprised. It took me so long to get one in here. I didn't have it until I think last summer was when I finally pulled the trigger on one. One happened to come across on HeadFi, and I'm like, what the heck? Go watch that video. Go back and watch that video. Like, my first impression, like, holy mother of goodness, is this a great headphone? Like, what have I been missing? Oh my God. Yeah, they're a little bit on the heavy side, and they're this, that, but they're phenomenal. You cannot touch that sound. It's hard to pick apart that sound. And they're still faster than the Meze Empyrean, for crying out loud. And you get that in an older headphone and for less money. Fantastic headphone. That's the way to do it. Can you see the link? I did not see the link. Sorry, buddy. Rodrigo telling me. I think he's talking about the iFi. Mr. Dynamite says audiophile Nervosa would drive him nuts with that Zal. Yeah, because you can tweak it to death. If you don't want to tweak, if you just want to put it on and listen to something, yeah, because otherwise you're going to be sitting there tweaking it to the nines. But and I'm not a crossfeed person. I don't play with it that much. But he's from what I've seen is that it's not really a true crossfeed, and that it's like really playing with the phase and throwing stuff way out. It's actually trying to separate parts of the mix and push it out. So it's very interesting. Good technology, and great name, Zal, fantastic name, German audio, fabulous. Abdullah, cheers, Abdullah. What is my opinion of the TT2 we want to review in the future? I think this is a good idea. Let's see. What is my opinion of... What is your opinion? TT2 we want review in the future. I think this is a good idea. Well, I'm a fan of the Cord stuff. I've got Cord, I know I'm talking about selling. I'm selling my TT2 and I'm selling my M Scaler. Those are for sale right now because I'm looking to do something different. I've had Cord gear in here since the show started. And the knock on Cord And the brag about Cord is how detailed it is. They're perfectly detailed products. The detail is second to none. But some say that makes them sound analytical and a little bit cold. And I'm willing to buy that, but I can't. So I want to try something else. So I'm selling these for basically a little under what I bought them for, $6,500 for the pair. And I want to go into something else. And it's going to be something like, it's going to be like a Halame. It's going to be, you know, I don't know if I can stretch to Alina, but boy, would that be sweet. There's something like that, but I'm gonna get into something else just to get a different sounding DAC in here. And I tried to hook it up through the Macintosh and use that DAC, and I'm having some wiring problems. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I tried it a couple of different ways, and I can't get the Mac to jump into digital mode for some reason. So whatever. My opinion is that they're among the best I've heard, and I think most people would say they're phenomenal. The Cord stuff is, I mean, it's engineer great. You get Rob Watts design. You're not getting proprietary DAC chips. They don't pull anything off the shelf. They do the shit themselves. I love that. They're not taking an off the shelf DAC chip and shoving it in. They're designing this stuff from the ground up. It's their own. Great company. They build discrete stuff. All of their products, I believe all of their products, maybe not the Dave, but their products have batteries in them so that they're lifting the ground out of the equation. Everything on the inside of the amp is run off of a battery. That means you're not feeding AC into your circuits. That's a good thing. It eliminates a lot of potential for hum and imbalance, right? So they're doing things the right way. Now, little quirky on the lights and the knobs and the buttons and the glowy things. A little quirky, got to admit that. I mean, even Cord would probably admit that they're a little quirky. But for sound, that M-scaler upscaling technology, I mean, great. And unless you think that, he's getting out of Cord, he doesn't like Cord anymore, I'll probably buy back in whenever they do the next Cord release. Because I love Cord. I love their sounds. I love their DACs. I just want to change, and I can't afford to keep both. I've got to move stuff to get stuff. That's the way the show works. So JTB sending a hard hat to avoid serious injuries in the backyard. And dude, if you saw the backyard right now, it's power tools and you would miss the top of the show, JTB. We're doing construction on the house right now. We've had a crew in. They're in for the next week. They're putting a foundation under one of the rooms of the house. So the whole backyard has got power tools and nail and hammers and tools and shit all over it, and it's a disaster. But what they got to do, if you missed the top of the show, is they have to lift one of the rooms of the house up. They're going to dig underneath it, pour a foundation, and drop it back down, because the people who who added that room originally back in 1980 or whenever it was, when I was still in high school, they were idiots. But I'm an idiot too, so I can't be too critical. Okay, so Hipster Cow says, "What would you be interested in reviewing the Burson Funk Jay's edition?" Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to get it. I'd have to get it in. I'm not, I think that the Burson is playing kind of on a par with where the Ferrum stack is. If reading the tea leaves, and I don't know this for sure, because I had a Burson amp in here back in the day, but it was the old 160 or something like that. It was, it was long in the tooth. Paid about $1,200 for it back in 2010-ish, maybe earlier. But it was really nice. Loved their design, loved the wiring, loved the sound. It was great. I just had to move up and move on and whatever. And I sold it to get my first Woo Audio amp, the big one, the WA5. So I wouldn't be opposed to it. I still, I'd love to get the Burson, not the Soloist, the GT edition, whatever that is that the Soloist GT? I think it is, off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember. That would be a cool one, but I wouldn't expect it to like be drastically different. It's got about a little higher power rating than the Ferrum stack. I'm not expecting much different between the two, to be honest with you. Being honest, the Lena stack was the biggest disappointment in its SoCal CanJam. That's interesting. You're one of the first people I've talked to that hasn't unquestionably praised the Lena stack, because the DAC alone is pulled from their $20,000 rack unit, home hi-fi unit, just repackaged in a way that it could fit into a desktop unit. And universally, that Ring DAC has been praised across, like look at any of the reviewers out there. They pretty much like that DCS tech. But I guess we all have our own thing. So I'm interested. I'm still interested in it because I think it's cool. I'm still interested in the Hollow May. That would be interesting to me. If I can find it, but it's finding the stuff used and finding it for a deal, because I don't want to pay retail. That's always the battle with this stuff. But interesting that you had a problem with it. You're one of the first people I've heard that has not said great things. Almost everybody has said at least buy the DAC. If you're considering one thing, consider the DAC. So that makes you think that if you could get one of what's that amp with a what was that amp we were talking about earlier? The Zal HM1. That if you can get that in and pair that to the DCS, that could be interesting, right? Maybe. Mr. Dynamite says Aria Stealth is probably the best value in headphones to him. Yeah, I would say that the HE1000 V2 personally is probably the better value. But there's nothing wrong with the Stealth, and if your budget is $1,300, go for the Stealth. It's a no-brainer. JTB recently got the HE1000 V2 Stealth, and it's better than the Aria. Not light years better. It shouldn't be. All this stuff is incremental. Mrs. Director entering the premises.
Hello, Mr. Director.
We're live to the world. Everybody's, and the rest of the world is getting set for some serious rain and snow. That's what we've determined. There's a blizzard warning in LA. Can you believe it? A blizzard in LA. It's like the claymation Heat Micer and Freeze Micer guys. And no, I'm not going to sing. So JTB, you're right on. I think you're right on the money as usual. With it's going to be incremental, diminishing returns, right? I just think that at $2,000, it's probably worth it to go up to that price. You make that decision for yourself. Rodrigo says YouTube doesn't allow him to post a link. All right, Facebook measure. I'll take a look. It's going to be out before you know it. It's going to be on their webpage before you know it. It's just not on their homepage. So apparently there's a YouTube video out there hanging in. All right, that's good. He's YouTube. Hi-Fi Boog. Cheers, Hi-Fi Boog. Always a pleasure.
I'm going to go dance in this cold.
You're insane, woman. Just going to go dancing. Just going to go dancing in this.
In the park, in the dark.
Folks, it's like what? It's 52 degrees right now, which means by the time they start dancing, shaking their booty, it's going to be about 50, 48. Not happening.
I'm going to die.
She's going to die. At least I'll get to use the living room for more hi-fi playing.
I'll haunt you.
She will. She'll be the ghost in the machine. Okay. Yeah, Chi-Fi. There's some, and I'm telling you, man, that some of this stuff is so good. And I'm telling you, this is the other thing I've discovered. Oh, it's in my bag. The Cayin N. I'm actually preferring the sound these days out of the Cayin N8 to the HE1000. Spicy take. I just think it's a warmer sound. I think it sounds fuller. The more detail, the DAC and the guts are better on the SP1000, but the Cayin has it for sound. Overall sound, I dial in better with the Ragnar on the Cayin N8. Enjoy it, and it's got the tube mode. You can really get some. You can get some really nice, edgy distortion, like just bare, like on the brink of distortion. So good. Such a great sound out of that Cayin N8. What a great product. Another thing I'm selling, by the way. Selling stuff left and right. Cheers. Okay. Hipster Cow. Denafrip's Terminator currently tops the chart for him personally in the... Oh, we got a lot to get through. I better get to it. Terminator currently tops the charts for him and personally for DeX. Not that he would ever spend that much on them. There's a lot of good stuff out there. There's also the... Was it the Lampizator? Trying to remember what the heck the name of that thing was. Lampizator? It's another one that people are raving about. There's a few really good DACs out there. And I don't think you go wrong with any of them. So what can you afford? What do you want in features? Do you want it to stream along, help you with the streaming? Do you want it to sit on its own and just sit there and DAC? Or do you want it to DAC amp? It just comes down to what your needs are, I guess. What you want. But yeah, all of that stuff. Holo audio, good stuff. It's all good stuff. And chord. Another one with the chord stuff. I'm just looking to do something different. You got to try. Hi-Fi Boog says, he got some converters to try some of his tubes on this little amp. Don't blow anything up, dude. You got to try new. It's understandable. We know you will get the new chord item whenever it may come. Maybe. It's most of the time I'm waiting for that somebody to want to get rid of it, and then I'll buy it used. JTB had the Core 2 TT2 M scaler for about a month and sold them. Too analytical, and that's the knock on them, is that they're really analytical. But the people who love detail and really want that last bit of detail in their music, give me everything and then let me dial it back from there. That's like the philosophy. Give me everything you can and then let me choose a headphone to sort of match to that. That will, bring out just what I want, or I'll put it with an amp that will, take that, run it through a tube amp. You've got a formidable thing because a tube amp is going to sort of take that edge off. So now you get all that detail and you take the edge off. So, there's a lot of ways to go. It just depends on how you want to product match. And I like the TT2 and M scaler. I'm addicted to the sound. I think it's great. It's just I'm just looking to change it up to get some new sounds in here because that's what it's about for me. It's an exploration. And like I said, I'll probably go back to chord somewhere down the road. I also think that we're probably within 18 months of whatever the third version of all of these Hugo products are. I think if they follow suit, I think they're most due for an upgrade. Anybody looking to buy a Dave, the Chord Dave, I would say hold off. I don't know everything about everything, but that is a long in the tooth DAC that's at the top of the product line. Hold off. Like they are way overdue to upgrade that product. Way overdue. So, if you just want the Dave to have the Dave, wait until they release whatever the Dave 2.0 or whatever it is they're going to name it, the Charlie. Whatever it's going to be, hold off for that and then buy the Dave, because the Dave will drop in price. You'll be able to pick them up for $3,000 or $4,000. Right now they're sitting at about $6,000. They're going to drop almost in half from that once they get the new top of the line product out there, whatever it is. And it's just an old product. Like, look at when that DAC came out. It was like, what is it, 2016. 8-year-old DAC, folks. Just think twice about buying a new Dave. That's what I would tell you. Kevin Jock says he missed the top of the show. Have we talked about the Atrium closed yet? Zach said that the next headphone he's releasing this year will be the Atrium closed in the sub, and it will be a sub $1,000 closed back. How are they going to do that? The atrium itself is $2,600, $2,400. I would put an asterisk next to that sub $1,000. I'm not sure that's going to happen, Kevin. How can they do it and justify the price of the regular atrium? I love the atrium too. But yes, I've heard that there's going to be an atrium closed. Everybody is already speculating if there's going to be a Caldera closed, because the Caldera is arguably, you know, that's the headphone of the hour right now. And you'll know that in 2 episodes. My second to next episode is going to be the full Caldera review. Next episode is going to be the unboxing for Audio 46 episode. Then we're doing a full Caldera, and then I think I'm doing some kind of just generic unboxing episode. Those are the next 3 I've got booked, barring some significant change, which can always happen. It's the director's garage. Anything can happen. William, have you tried the Nimbus or Vioelectric amps? No, I have not. I've listened to the Vioelectric at Can Jam. I think that was at one of the Can Jam stations. I thought it was good, but it's not, you know, it's hard. It's hard to get excited about like mid-tier amps. And that's just because they're all in the middle. And it's like, I like the stuff that pushes the boundaries and gets me excited there. But a mid-tier amp, I'm like, as long as it sounds decent, and, you know, like the head amp that I had here, that's a great mid-tier amp. It's a great amp. The Ferrum stack, great, you know, kind of a mid-tier, you know, upper mid-tier. It's amp. It's good. And so, is it perfect? No. I think that the Burson, same thing. It's like, it's a good mid-tier amp. You're not in that upper echelon of amps, but you're not in the low. So, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and hopefully not noisy, you know. That sounds exciting, and finally a sub $1,000 EMF. Yeah, Hi-Fi Boog, I would hold on that idea. Freeze. Go freeze. Enjoy the cold. She's going to come back and like put her cold hands on my neck, and I'm going to go, ah!
Oh, thanks for the idea.
Yeah. We've all been there, guys. Yeah, Hi-Fi Boog, I put a pin in that. I don't know that it's going to be sub $1,000. I would see like an Aeolus closed under $1,000, because that was an $1,100, $1,200 headphone. I don't see how they're going to get a. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, time will tell. That'd be great, but yeah, don't expect anything in like some custom like stabilized wood, whatever. Atrium closed is available at Can Jam. Public release in April. Okay. We'll have to see. Get the price on that, Kevin, and report back to us next week. Come back, because I want to hear. Anybody who's going to Can Jam, please come back next week and share your ideas. Share what you found. Share what excited you, and give us some info. Because I'm not going to be there. I can't be there. I've got stuff going on. You know, I've got a. The house is being dug out. But I just don't think that sounds right, that it's going to be sub 1,000. How do they do that when the open back is 2,400? That's what's rolling through my head right now. Okay, let's get through these last few. We're getting close to get back to me editing time. Snow tonight here in Boston, rain tonight in LA, and snow in the mountains in LA. We are in for a rocky ride. Definitely, and nice. I'm definitely going to consider the atrium closed. Yeah, I think it's going to be great, whatever it is. I still haven't heard the ZMF. What's the other closed? The Verite closed. I still haven't gotten one of those. I keep my eyes open, but I'm like, I've had so much ZMF gear in here. I'm like, it's kind of like the Audeze and the Focal before it. You know, I've done some major runs on certain brands, and I'm like, I feel like I got to start expanding out a little bit. Just I'm having that feels like I got to go other places now. So I don't know what that is, but you know, we'll see. I want to get the final audio stuff in here. I really want to get the final audio stuff in here. That's something that's on the short list. It's getting closer and closer because I'm getting impatient. Because we all do. Okay, he has a Star Aria Stealth, but also has upgrade iris. Jill Renard. Cheers, Gil. All of us have upgrade itis. Sorry, I just got a piece of ice in my face. Okay. Kevin says, Michael will like the atrium closed. It's got a lot more sub bass. Well, I like my sub bass. I like my bass. I'm a bass head. I like it. Similar to the Icon, but less soundstage compared to the Open. Well, the Open didn't have tremendous soundstage either, so I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was great. And it's hard, you know, the atrium, as good as it is, with the Caldera out there right now, the Caldera is so good. It's so good. Guys, that review's coming. I'm telling you, that Caldera is, you know, I love the atrium. I love the look of the atrium. I love the feel of the atrium. I love the relaxed nature of the atrium. But the Caldera is like, there's a big gap. There's a big gap. And for that to be ZMF's very first planar magnetic they've ever done in the company's history, and to hit that high on the scale, unbelievable. Unbelievable. The guys are unreal over there. Whatever they're doing, keep doing it. Keep giving us more product, guys, because it's good. And what they're doing is good over there at ZMF. Okay. He already told himself this year is ZMF. He said that last year too. Hi-Fi Boog, try and hear the Caldera. Seriously, that's the headphone to target. If you're going to listen to anything at CanJam, go listen to the Caldera. Don't thank me later. You can listen to your ZMF closed, to the Atrium closed, whatever you want to hear. Go listen to the Caldera. You owe it to yourself to hear the Caldera. Everybody who's going there, please go listen to the Caldera. You're not going to be disappointed. It's going to like blow your mind. It's such a good headphone. Like it's top of the top tier, and it's sitting there at $4,000. It's a steal compared to what else is out there. I'm telling you. Go hear that headphone. You owe it to yourself. You like sub bass, Caldera. Go do it. You like drums? Best drum headphone I've ever heard. All that's teasing what's coming in the full review. I'm telling you, it's that good. It's that good. It's, you know, it's there. It's there. They got everything with that. They if they didn't sink a hole in one, they put it within 3 inches of the hole. It's amazing. It's it's an unprecedented shot for your first attempt at anything. With due respect, to their other headphones, it's just, this is different. Some good stuff on the way. Hipster Cow, he's struggling between the Denafrips Terminator Venus KTE Spring 3. He tends to lean towards new old stock, so maybe the KTE may win. That's like $3,000, right? Big money on DAP. Yeah, I'm looking at, yeah. And look at the Hollow May KTE. It's like, that's up there. That's like 5, 6. JTB says, seen a few reviewers say that the Gestard R26 and A26 Delta Sigma is more punch slam and faster. He would choose the A26 too. I've read a lot of that stuff. Oh wait, I conflated two posts. My apologies. JTB says he's seen a few reviews that say the Gestard, let's pronounce it right, R26 and A26 are giant killers, and as good as the DAX, costing up to $5,000. The A26 is what he wants, says Hi-Fi Boog. 50 degrees Fahrenheit is too cold. Your Chicago friends think of you now. Don't get on me for that shit. I was 38 last night. That's freezing in terms of LA. The R26 and is R2R and a bit smoother and slower. The A26 is Delta Simi, which is much more punch and slam and faster. I would choose the A26 too. But a lot of people like the musicality of that R2R stuff. I'm just saying. Anyone know about the J Studio R2R deck? Nope. Don't know. Kevin says, no, Michael, the Atrium Closed is one product and the sub $1,000 is a separate product. Oh! Okay. All right. Thanks, buddy. I thought you were saying the Atrium Closed is sub 1,000. And I'm like, I don't see how they could do that. So, sorry I got on that track. I misread what you were saying. Okay, yeah, they're doing a sub 1,000 product. Okay, that I believe, and I think I did hear that. But I just was questioning whether it was the Atrium. Because I'm like, the Atrium's, the open back's 2,300. JTB says the Burson Soloist 3 XP is a nice mid-range amp. If you don't want to spend a fortune, can basically drive anything but the Susvara. That is true. And that's the only reason I didn't get it in here, because it would have been a side grade from the Ferrum stack, which is also for sale on Director's Garage. The comments below. Read the comments below, people, and buy shit. Email me, directorsgarage@gmail.com. We're just looking to turn stuff over. Matthew Hilty says, do you feel Critical tunings on IEMs are a bit shouty? I think Critical has been hit or miss on his IEM tunings. It's a spicy take, but I'll tell you that some of the stuff, the Blessing 2 Dusk, which was his tuned Blessing 2, was one of the best tuned IEMs I had heard, and until the 7 Hz Timeless came out, it was probably the best bang for the buck. The 7 Hz Timeless has obliterated everything. Everything pretty much under $900. I would steer you to that Timeless first. I've heard some stuff that is really shouty. I have a pair of Fios up there that he tuned that I thought were just terrible. Didn't impress me at all. But he did such a good job on the Dusk. I got to think his ears are good. So I don't know. And there's also that new, not just a toot Chronicles horn, but the new Z reviews, Zeos tuned Canera Nana. That sounds interesting to me because they amped up the bass, and I'm like, well, that's in my lane. But I'm not going to be spending the money on that. I'll spend it somewhere else. But yeah, I think Corinne has done good stuff. I think he's done bad stuff. I think that's true of most headphone people in the headphone business. They do good stuff, they do bad stuff. Some stuff works out, some of it doesn't. I think it's going to be very product dependent and how they execute what it is he wanted to do. And I don't know that I would blame Corinne if something is tuned badly, because you don't know what happens behind the scenes. They may take his tuning and add their own fairy dust thinking, we can't do this, and then it jacks it up. Who knows? HiFiman EF600 DAC amp combo with 5 channel. What? EF600 combo DAC amp. Is that mid-range HiFiman? Maybe. Isoparametric says it's 6 degrees Fahrenheit here. All right, I'll shut up now. Isoparametrics for the win. Let's all drink to Isoparametrics freezing his nannies off. But he's happy with his... nice. Happy with his listening station. That's awesome, man. That's what it's about. Ace of Spades, dollars per Caldera versus the 1266 Phi TC. I guess dollar per dollar. Well, I mean, you're saving $2,000 on the Caldera. Unless the Phi TC is $2,000 better than the Caldera, there's your answer. I mean, in some ways, Zach screwed himself on that pricing, because if he priced it at $6,000, everybody would be going, which one's better? And like there'd be this mad dash. I think there's an assumption because it's $2,000 cheaper that it sounds $2,000 worse. I'm not telling you what my review is, but Zach likes his drum tunings. I'm telling you, man. Best drum headphone I've ever heard. Maybe. Probably. I don't know. See the review. 2 episodes away, folks. Ding. It's a tease. Such a lame ass. Okay. Caldera versus Diana TC. While you're at it, ported ear pads, not the default. I'd love to get a Diana TC in here. I don't want to pay for the Diana TC though. Yeah, I'll get into that some other time. I don't feel like that is a whole rat hole we could go down. The whole of this thing. As parametrics, so I used WA33 on Head5 for 6K. You should buy that too. Thanks for spending my money, buddy. I appreciate that. Saving for a Caldera, putting on hold on other audio purchases until that happens. Matthew Hilty, go ahead. You have my... honestly, do it. Do it. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a headphone that can be driven by anything. I'm telling you, it's a little cleaner on the Bakun, but without... If I was just driving with the Ferrum stack, wouldn't know the difference, wouldn't really care. Seriously. Like, not an earth-shattering difference. Whereas, jumping any of my other stuff to the Bakun, there's a huge jump in sound. Not a huge jump in sound. It's kind of like the Audeze LCD-4 in that way. Not a massive jump going from one to the other. A little cleaner, that's about it. It's super easy to drive, and you get all of that experience. You are not going to be sorry. I just wish I had a coupon code for that and a way to get a piece of it. Of the sale. A little love for the Director's Garage channel. The floundering Director's Garage channel. JTB hadn't sold the Verite closed and currently has this stabilized Auteur Classic, and the drums are definitely a joy on both. Yeah. I would like to get a Verite closed in here. That's something that I would like. But again, I'm kind of like, I got to get some other brands in here. I'm getting too narrowcast. I want to expand out and get some other things going. Hipster Cow is a parametrics laughing his ass off, using Michael to vicarious fulfill your audio dreams. That's the way it goes, man. I can't. If I had $1 for every $1 somebody else spent, I would have it all of my money. I can't tell you how many times you guys don't go through the comments below, and I get emails about each comment. Every time somebody comments on a video, I get which I'll have to shut off if we ever get too popular, because I can't respond to everything. I can't read everything. But people all the time, you need to get, it's not a real test until you put, to give me that thing that I need to buy. I'm very happy to reach into my wallet and steal my credit card and go buy something for me. To review. I'm like, I only got so much here, folks. I'm going broke as it is. This channel loses money like you can't believe. So funny. It's all right, it's our thing. Everybody's got to have a thing. My thing is we lose money on everything we do. I used to have the WA5 very close to what Michael has. Yeah, that's how would I ever get rid of this WA5 LE? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go with it? Nobody would. I have probably $10,000 of this amp. What am I going to do with it? There's nowhere to go with it. I think that I guess he's saying Critical was wrong on his AirPods 2 review. So he had them. That's what caused him to buy the Abyss Diana. What? You bought the Abyss Diana because AirPod Pros 2 were so bad? That's quite a jump. AirPods 2 to Abyss Diana TC. Yeah, I don't know. I've talked about this in other shows, other live shows. I don't know if we want to get into that now. We got to start wrapping this sucker up. And JTB with the quote of the day: I need to try a Ferrari. I will drink to that, my friends. If I can talk Mrs. Director into getting a, little Testarossa in the driveway, count me in. All right, folks. I'm going to start wrapping this up. We gotta get on. I've got a whole show I got to edit tonight. I got to get in here. I got to get this, get the soundtrack cut on episode 132, so I can get that out by Friday, hopefully Saturday, whatever it is, and give you guys a nice episode, nice Can Jam worthy episode for the weekend. And at the same time, get out there and enjoy enjoy Can Jam. See if you can get out. If you can get out, and if you're in New York City, make sure you go and do that. It's the great guys over there. Matthew LT, thank you for the tip, sir. I appreciate that so much. That's really generous of you. He says he's sending me support. He loves these stories. The impromptu Prince Jam. No idea why this channel isn't huge right now. 2 words, this face. All right, guys, get out of here. Have a good rest of your week. This was fun, man. Cheers, everyone. Have a good night. Oh, I got to get out of here somehow.